In this Mach 1 24/7 news cycle world we live in, finding a secluded, serene place to unplug and refresh often seems far out of reach. But thankfully, just minutes west of the Denver metro area, you can find the Mother Cabrini Shrine, as peaceful of a place as you can imagine, where you will find yourself feeling a little bit closer to the angels and saints. Longtime Director of Development JoAnn Seaman shares some history, some vision, and some great fundraising insight about the shrine on this episode of Making Our World Better.
Welcome to the Making Our World Better podcast, where you will find motivation and encouragement through lively conversations with inspirational people who every day are making our world a better place. Now, here's your host, Jay Clark.
Welcome to the podcast. I am Jay Clark, and it is a joy to be joined by JoAnn Seaman, Development Director for Mother Cabrini Shrine. Tucked just off Interstate 70 between Denver and the Rocky Mountains, Mother Cabrini Shrine is a true gem and what I would call one of the best outposts of peace and serenity in all of Colorado. JoAnn has been with Mother Cabrini Shrine for 33 years, awesome, and is responsible for all fundraising endeavors, including annual giving, special events, and a recent capital campaign. We'll ask her about those, as well as all shrine communications, marketing, and social media. JoAnn was born and raised in Victoria, Kansas, and has a BA in communications from Fort Hays State University and a nonprofit management master's degree from Regis University. Most importantly, JoAnn has been married to husband Tim for 28 years, and after raising two daughters, they recently became grandparents to two fabulous granddaughters. JoAnn, welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So how would you describe Mother Cabrini Shrine to somebody who doesn't know anything about it?
Oh, Mother Cabrini Shrine is an oasis, I think.
It is an oasis. That's a great word.
Is. We're so fortunate, I think, in Colorado, and obviously I'm a little biased with my history at the shrine, but we're so fortunate to have a space and a place like that so close to the metro area. And really from anywhere you can be at the shrine in 20 to 30 minutes, just depending where you are. But it's so close to the city just for a little escape. Maybe sometimes from reality, from your busy life. And it's just really amazing to me that a place like that exists so close to, a busy, big city. And I think the shrine, it's a place of prayer. It's a place for people to come find peace, maybe find some answers that they're looking for. It's a getaway that is it has a lot of history, and there's a lot to learn when if you come for the first time.
Which I know there's been books written, and it's an impossible question, but I'll ask anyways. Give us a little bit of the history of St. Francis Cabrini and how the shrine came about. You can do the Reader's Digest. I know you could talk for days. I know.
All right. Great question. Mother Cabrini is the first American citizen saint. She was born in Italy, but came to the United States. And she didn't come to Colorado until 1902. She was invited by the bishop. And she was just a formidable, just incredible woman. She has so much grit. She was so smart, had so much business savvy, but most of all, she had just an unwavering faith. She had just a huge, passionate devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The reason that we have the 22-foot statue, on top of the hill at the shrine was because of her devotion to him. But she was told no so many times in her life. She was very sick as a child. She had many illnesses. She had smallpox. She overcame so many odds to do all of the things that she accomplished in her lifetime. She opened 67 institutions, hospitals,
67.
schools, orphanages, exactly. And she lived for 67 years. So
wow,
she was just amazing. They say that she was as resourceful as she was prayerful.
Obviously.
There's a great story about her that she did so much fundraising. She had to, because she came to the United States with no money, essentially. And, for fundraisers, this kind of gives us a little bit of hope. She started with nothing, and she had to just raise and beg and for everything that she had. And she would, if she'd get a bill, in the mail for something that she did, or if a contractor did some work for her, she would mark it paid and send it back without the money. And that was just, she just said, this is for God. And, that was just how she did business. And
wow.
She was just really successful, and just very determined. And so she came to Colorado in 1902 and started a school in North Denver for girls. It was a school and an orphanage, and then eventually opened a big orphanage right off of I-70 and Federal.
Wow.
And in 1909, she was looking for a place to get the girls out of the city in the summertime. She wanted a summer camp. And that's when she found the property that the shrine is on today.
So it goes back to 1909.
It does. Yes. Wow. She purchased it because they told her there was no water on the property. And again, just her true grit and faith and determination. The sisters that were with her, she had them flip over a rock, and the spring of water was flowing, and it still flows to this day.
Isn't that remarkable?
And a lot of people believe that, the water has healing qualities to it. They pray, they use it. It's amazing, some of the stories that we hear. And I will say she is a powerful, powerful intercessor. If you have something that, an intercession or something you're really praying about, she's a good go-to. She really is.
Nice. So the 22-foot statue you can see from I-70, there's significance in the path that leads up to it. Am I right about that?
Yeah. So it was the path she took when she came.
Wow.
I mean, she came up with her horse and buggy, and obviously nothing was paved. And at that time, there weren't steps. I mean, it was just a hillside, and she walked up the hill with her sisters and some of the girls from the orphanage, and she had them gather rocks, and they formed them in the shape of a heart with the cross on top. Again, wow. Her, devotion to the Sacred Heart. And, and it's still there. Today it's enclosed, and, wow. So people can see that. And then over the years, the Knights of Columbus and several North Denver families were very instrumental in putting in the steps and bringing the statue over from Italy. And there are Stations of the Cross and the, 10 Commandments and just devotional things along the way that people can take their time. There are 373 steps. We get asked that all the time. But you can kind of take your time, and it's a spectacular view from the top, overlooking Denver and the mountains. So
I love the word oasis because it truly is an oasis. If anybody hasn't gone, you've got to go and make that climb. But there's always more than meets the eye. And you guys do so much more than just maintain the path. And tell us about everything that goes on up at Mother Cabrini Shrine.
So we have a daily mass in our chapel. We have masses, Sunday masses on the weekends. We have 3. We have weddings, quinceañeras, we have retreat facilities so people can come and stay. We have a retreat house, the stone house, which Mother Cabrini actually gave the directive to have built. She never got to see it finished, but it was her, direction that happened. And that's where the girls would stay. And then once she was canonized, that's when the property became a shrine in her honor, and after 1946. And so we've made some changes. Obviously, the stone house is now our retreat house. We just obviously we're a Catholic shrine, and the sacraments are very important to us. So there's that element to it, but there's also the just being there for people to come and pray and get away and walk, or ride their bike or up the hill. I mean, there are just many I think reasons why people come. We have a gift shop. We recently, as you mentioned in our intro, we just finished a capital campaign.
Yeah, salute.
It's the first one we've done. And you're
still standing. Way to go.
Yeah, barely. We decided several years ago, pre-COVID that it was time to take a look at our buildings and our vision for the future. And not a lot had been done since, the main building was built in the early 70s. And we just had noticed that masses were getting fuller and fuller. And especially in the summertime, people were down the ramp and there just were not enough seats. And so we just sort of took a look at everything and thought, well, this would probably be a good time. One of the things I think most people don't know about the shrine is that we're self-supporting. A lot of people, I think that we're under the, umbrella of the Archdiocese and, that they support us financially. They don't. We have a great relationship with them and we work very well together. But we are self-supporting and, the missionary sisters do not fund us, that we have to do all of that on our own. So
a little pressure on the development director,
a little pressure on the development program. But also we decided, we had a very small gift shop. And so part of our construction plan was to make that, to enlarge it, make it bigger, more space. And it's been a true blessing. Our sales have been up significantly, and that helps a lot as well. We created a new conference facility for groups, who want to come in and use that. And so that was phase one of the campaign. And phase two is enlarging the chapel. So we're embarking on that now. We hope to begin the construction in August, and then we'll probably have to close the chapel for a while, beginning in January, so that we can do the remodel of that.
But how does this expansion really change the game for you guys?
It's more for the future. I mean, obviously a bigger gift shop, more sales, that helps us financially. It gives us room to grow. We can, more people can come to Mass and, use our facilities. The addition, we're adding an addition onto the chapel that will have some movable walls. And so we can have chapel seating. We're going from 250 seats to 400.
Wow.
For when we need them. But we'll have some extra conference space as well, so we don't have to turn groups away. And we've found ourselves doing that more and more often. So again, it's just bringing more people, and it's looking to the future. And we want the shrine to be there for generations to come. And we want to preserve Mother's legacy, and hopefully this is setting the groundwork for that.
Well, I would assume that this puts you on a different tier with all the wedding planners. There's definitely never enough wedding facilities.
That's right.
Talk to me a little bit about, I know we joke and say it's a lot of pressure on you because you're all self-funded, but at the same time, that has to be a little bit of an advantage because you can go to donors and say, if you donate to us, it's staying here.
Exactly. And it was just sort of, letting people know that initially. When I started 30 whatever years ago, we didn't have a development program. So we started from scratch, and it was kind of just, communicating that message and letting people know that absolutely every dollar they give goes right into, the facilities, the grounds, the programs, whatever, it is that we're working on at the time. So I will say our donors are incredible. We were blown away by the campaign. It took us about 15 months to raise the 4.5 million for these,
that feels
upgrades.
Really fast to me.
And it was during COVID, and
salute. That's awesome.
We took a big chance. It was hard to know what to do because people were struggling, and we wanted to be, considerate of that. But people were just incredible. Our donors, our friends, our, volunteers. We have an amazing group of people who help us every single day. We're a small staff. We have 3 missionary sisters on staff right now, and then about 10, lay staff people. And we couldn't do it without our volunteers and our, obviously our donors.
Right. Well, and I like to think, I saw a lot of fundraising success for different organizations during COVID. And I like to think, especially would apply to Mother Cabrini Shrine, is that giving to an organization like that in a dark time really provides some light and some hope. So and that's what you're here for, right?
Absolutely. That is absolutely why we're here. And again, even during COVID, it was obviously a scary time for a lot of organizations and people, and you just wonder how you're going to get through it. And again, people just stepped up and really helped us, through that time.
So as a fundraiser who's been doing this for a few days, ways and means of fundraising have always evolving. What have been the biggest changes in fundraising that you've witnessed over your career?
It's interesting. We started really with a direct mail program. And some annual giving, and then sort of evolved into special events. We're getting ready for our annual gala, which I know you came last year.
Great fun. And everybody should go.
Thank you. We're getting ready for number 21, I think it is, in September. And so we kind of evolved into that. Again, it's a fun event, and I think people just love to get together and, for a cause. And now I think in this time of social media, trying to use that, to kind of communicate our message. We still do direct mail. Large portion of our donors are older and they want that piece of paper, and we try to, encourage online giving and just sort of try to change with the times as best we can.
But I think that's also a good message for any of our nonprofit folks out there, that there are some tried and true means. And when you're communicating and you're on mission and everything else, that's what matters almost more than the platform you're doing to communicate it.
Exactly.
How have donors evolved, and how have you managed to stay, maintain your position in such a competitive marketplace?
Well, you're right. There are so many people and organizations out there asking, for the same dollar. And it's a challenge. It really is. And, I think the shrine is so unique and kind of specialized that, and some people don't even know what it is, so again, it's for a long time, I think we were a really well-kept secret, and it took a long time to get our message out and to let people know we were there. And it's a challenge. And I think, a lot of our donors had generations, family members who were tied to Mother Cabrini herself, and we're kind of starting to lose some of that. You try to maintain that with, grandchildren and great grandchildren and that kind of thing. But it's really finding new people and bringing new people to the shrine. And it's a challenge. It really is. Yeah,
for sure. But if you stick to the one thing that you're good at and try to, inch wide, mile deep instead of vice versa, which I think the shrine does, that's probably an advantage. But, I know anybody is welcome to visit. And again, I encourage everybody that I know to go up there. It's just the, like I say, outpost of peace and serenity. But how intentional are you with staff and volunteers and everybody else so when somebody sets foot on the shrine, they feel welcome? I mean, that has to be an intentional act on your part.
Absolutely. We recently did a sort of a rebranding. We honestly, all these years, we didn't really have a logo. I mean, that's really awesome, kind of terrible to say. It just took a while, and we were very intentional about signage and, just so when people come on the property, they feel welcome. They feel like they know where to go or what to do. There are maps, that kind of thing. Again, we are a small staff. If we could be out there, welcoming people when they do set foot on the property, we would be. And we do have volunteers who do that. We have them in the grotto in the summertime, just to greet people and that kind of thing. But we do try to be very intentional about that because everybody's welcome. And again, we're a Catholic shrine, but, I've had people tell me, I met a guy one day outside who rode his bike up the hill, and he stopped, and I asked a question, and he just said, I've been coming here for like 20 plus years. I ride my bike up this hill. He said, I've never stepped inside the building. I'm not Catholic. I'm not really anything, but this is where I come to find God, and this is where my time with Jesus, and so be it. I mean, good for him. And thank goodness we can provide that, so yeah, I thought that was really kind of telling.
That prompts me to ask another completely unfair question, which I will, is do you have any favorite visitor stories that you should share? I mean, people come from all over the world to visit, correct?
They do. Yeah. They do. You never know. I mean, when you deal with the public, it's interesting. Honestly, probably the ones that stand out the most are the ones that have so much faith, or that come to thank Mother Cabrini for answering their prayers, or people that, were really sick and were healed, or, beat cancer, or some of the most heartwarming, inspiring stories probably, stand out the most. Again, or, people who lose a loved one and come to the shrine to find peace, or we have benches and, different things to remember loved ones. And if the shrine was a special place, there's a woman who's a really dear friend, who has become a really dear friend. And she lost her husband when she was pregnant with their third child to an aneurysm. Geez. And absolutely heartbreaking, but it just gave her so much peace. And to be able to have that bench up near the statue of Jesus, and, her kids have kind of grown up coming to the shrine. Her oldest daughter just got married, and,
wow.
So visitors like that really stick with me.
My experience has been you go there and you realize you're not alone,
exactly.
which is awesome. So
yeah,
it's like I say, it's been a few days that you've been there now. What continues to energize you as you do this work year after year?
I love the shrine. I love everything about it. I love that drive every morning that I get to do up that hill. Sometimes in the winter, it's a little tricky, but I've gotten used to it. It just, I love the sisters. I love working with them. They're just wonderful, passionate women. And it stopped feeling like a job a long time ago. My girls grew up there. They would come to work with me when, worst came to worst, and didn't have a babysitter or whatever, a day off of school. I actually met my husband on the property.
Come on.
And I did. Long story, but we
tell me that's not a God wink. Good Lord.
Exactly. The girls were both baptized there. Our oldest daughter was married there. So it's just a part of us, a part of our family, and a part of me. And I just feel so fortunate that I get to do this every day. And
that's so awesome. What an inspiration. Yeah. I hope everybody heard that. It quit feeling like a job a long time ago. We should all be so lucky. So what is it that excites you about the future for the shrine? Obviously
the new construction, the new chapel, it's really exciting for the future, for the shrine, for Mother Cabrini's legacy, just to continue her story and her spirit, and just that people continue to know her, and through her, they come to know Jesus. And that's why we're there. And I just think it's really exciting that we were able to make some changes and make it more welcoming and bigger. And we're just really thankful that we were able to do that.
And if you're Catholic, it's great. If you're not Catholic, it's great.
Absolutely. Everyone is welcome.
Yep. I always like to wrap these up. I call them the Fab Four. The first one is, what's something you will read, listen to, or watch today?
Read, listen to, or watch. Well, honestly, since you invited me to do this podcast, I've been listening to your podcast.
Oh, yay.
It's really good. I'm humbled that I am in this group because have some fantastic guests. So honestly, I'm going to continue your podcast.
Well, doesn't that make my day? Wow. So who would you say is a role model for you?
My career, I have a very dear friend, Father John Lager. Most people in the Archdiocese of Denver know him. He's been the national chaplain for Focus, the Fellowship of Catholic University Students. He actually taught me in high school.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Actually, junior high school, and then introduced me to the sisters and really helped me get this job. And so he's helped us. He was our capital campaign chair. And I always joke with him, you find the busiest, most well-connected person, make them your capital campaign chair, and it's going to be successful, So
Pro tip for everyone.
Exactly. He's been very helpful, just a dear friend, and really has helped shape the development program for the Shrine. And a lot of credit goes to him.
I mean, I would love to someday see a chart of, everybody Father John has influenced. You'd need a wall, right?
Exactly.
So other than the Shrine, is there an organization out there that you really admire who's doing work that inspires you?
I love the Amazing Parish. They're, relatively new in the last, 8 or 9 years, maybe.
Great.
I think they're doing great work.
Mm-hmm.
Love what they're doing. We actually participated in one of their sessions and just thought it was really good. And probably Arupe Jesuit High School. I'm fascinated by the work that they do as well.
Such a cool model.
Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, if anybody wants to support, visit, learn more about the Shrine or St. Francis Cabrini, where should they do?
They can certainly go to our website. It's just mothercabrinishrine.org. By all means, come and visit. Just come and see it for yourself. I'm there. Jeff, our executive director, is there. We love to give tours. Would love for you to meet the sisters. They're always there on the weekends. And again, just wonderful women, carrying on the legacy, and just come and see us. And our gala is coming up. If you want a fun evening out, all the information is on our website. Love to have some new folks join us.
We will put all that in the show notes. And it's awesome to me that you drive 20 minutes outside of Denver. You feel like you're on a completely different planet when you're at the Shrine. Just an amazing outpost of peace. JoAnn, your passion comes through. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great to spend time with you. Hang on one second, and cheers for continued success.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me and letting me talk about one of my favorite topics. I appreciate it.
It's been a joy. Thanks for listening. This podcast has been brought to you by JC Charity and Event Services. If you're interested in how I might be able to bolster your efforts and help your team achieve its goals, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can find me at makingourworldbetter.com. Make sure to check out the Mother Cabrini Shrine. You'll find contact information in the show notes. If you enjoyed this podcast, we'd be grateful if you would subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, I hope you are inspired to find a way to make our world better.